What's up, everybody? It's a Brownwater Banter podcast. I am Jared Seymour, and we're here talking today. Joe Allen, just met this guy, man. Side Bet Fishing Charters, is that correct?
Correct, out of Biloxi, Mississippi.
That's right. And we got Joey Cates back on the podcast. He's here to talk. We're talking fishing today. We're talking tuna fishing specifically. Let's jump right into it, man. How in the hell did you get started fishing charters out of Biloxi doing tuna?
Man, we saw a market for it because so many people think, Venice, Biloxi don't get the publicity that Venice gets. I mean, people come here to gamble, but they don't realize that the guys fishing out of Venice, 80% of the year fish what you can fish out of Biloxi. They fish the east side of the river. The water's usually cleaner. The fishing's usually a lot better to the east. So they end up fishing our side of the river. The only difference is we have to run probably 20 to 30 miles in open water that they run in the river. They tell you, oh, we only run 50 miles offshore. Well, yeah, granted they run 50 miles offshore, but they run 28 miles down the river. Yeah. So they're still running 80 miles just like we are. But the thing is people don't get, they're still, running 80 miles, but they're only telling you running 50 miles offshore.
That's right. I fished one time out of Venice. It wasn't for tuna, but you're right. I mean, it's a haul down the river before you hit.
It's a cold haul, too.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's foggy.
Absolutely.
You can't see. They got logs. I mean, there's a lot of risk involved in going down there. Plus, you don't have the amenities. I mean, you want to go eat Ruth Chris or you want to go eat a ham sandwich at night? I mean, what do you want to do?
I didn't really think about that, and my fat ass loves to eat, so that's a good point.
And I mean, hotels, we got 5-star hotels. We got McDonald's. They got a dollar store.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's it. It's definitely the end of the world down there.
Now, it's great if you want, some guys will still love to go down there because it's like going to the hunting camp. I mean, it's a mud hole, and you go down there, you need shrimp boots to walk from your car to the lodge because, I mean, it's muddy. It is what it is. I mean, the thing is, here in Biloxi, we just have the amenities, and we have things that the wives can do, the kids can do. We have Margaritaville. We have, Finish Line, the go-kart track. I mean, I have fun going there.
Yeah.
Definitely more family-friendly than Venice, no doubt.
It's just more options for people to do, and that's how we started tuna fishing here. We've always tuna fished out of Venice. We've always tuna fished out of here. The problem is just having the right equipment. So I broke down, 3 years ago, bought this new boat, a 39 Yellowfin with quad 300 Mercs. Decided if I was if I was going to do it, I was going to do it right.
Right.
I'm not going to sit there and put somebody and run 10 knots and you go on a 12-hour fishing trip, you fish 30 minutes, turn back around and have to run back in.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, though, like you're saying, from the time. What is that distance run to get to where you need to be for tuna fishing from Biloxi?
I mean, during the winter, this time of year, it can be up to 60 miles. During the summer, you'll run 90 to 130 miles.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you're running 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, I mean, you're there in 2 hours.
Right.
So you're covering ground.
But your comfort level in a boat like that
is a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, you get in a beanbag and you
just chill out.
Go to sleep until you get there.
Exactly.
That's right. What year did you start this? Why did you start this? Like, give us that background story.
I started working on charter boats when I was about 14, 15, and about 93, 94, 95, I started working out at the Broadwater for a guy that anybody that knows fishing in Biloxi knows Jay Trusted. He has the Silver Dollar down there.
Right.
I started working with his son and worked with him. Worked on different boats in the summer out at the Broadwater, and then worked for Kenny Bohanovich, which Jay and Kenny, were both inducted into the IGFA Hall of Fame a few years ago, which is a big deal for, a small town Biloxi that we really don't have the fishing, say, as Destin or Venice or Fort Lauderdale or West Palm Beach. I mean, like I said, people don't come here to fish. They come here to gamble. Yeah. Fishing's a secondary thing. But our fishing's just as good as Louisiana. So I started with them and just kind of, as I got older, when I turned 18, I went and got my license. And then I went and worked for Gulf Coast Hatteras over at Dog River. Worked with them, ran the big sport fishing boats, fished a few tournaments, and Katrina hit, wiped us out. So the oil field was booming at that time. I went into the oil field. I had a bigger license, so I just kept upgrading my license, doing the things I needed to do offshore to keep progressing. And, man, it's just the time that it took me to do the offshore stuff. I look back, and now that I have the money to be able to do what I want to do right,
Right.
You know, is
Yeah.
buying the correct boat, buying the correct tackle. I'm not buying, junk. I mean, we're doing this top of the line everything, know.
Would so did you start Side Bet out with this boat, or did
Yes.
you did? Okay, and
this
what year?
boat.
What year was that?
That was July of this year. I took delivery of it.
Damn. Okay, so it's pretty new then.
relatively
new.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're pretty new.
It's really new, but the guys I have working with me is Mark and Matt Smith. They're two twins. Everybody knows them on the coast. They have the boat, the Subdued. We've always fished together. We've always done tournaments together. For years, we fished the SKA fishing tournaments. We fished the Billfish Classic for years. Did really well in the Wahoo category in that end. And then, like I said, I went to Mark. Mark works offshore with me. I went to him, and we both kind of decided that, hey, if they're doing it in Venice, we can do it here.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we can't. And, we broke down. I bought the boat, and Mark started working with me, and I couldn't do it without him.
Or he's running it whenever you're not available?
Correct.
Both
Okay.
captains, right? Y'all just
Yeah,
flip
both
flop.
captains. Yeah. We work alternate of each other in the oil field, so.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah, y'all. I've seen already on Instagram, which is how we got in contact with each other. It's pulling out some nice fish.
Yeah, we've done good. The fishing's actually really good right now. So just to give you a little understanding of why it gets better and why we catch fish closer in this time of year is, during the summer, guess what? The snow's melting up north, Missouri, everywhere. So it floods the Mississippi River. The river levels come up, which we all know.
Right.
Which caused us the headache that we're all going through with the oysters and all
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
Carry.
Yeah, correct. So, what that does, it pushes the water out. It fresh water, and it pushes the fish out. Well, this time of year, guess what? It's winter. Everything's frozen. The river drops. Trout fishing gets really good. The tuna fish come in closer. So this time of year, the fishing is really good. The problem we have is for somebody to book out 3 months from now.
You never know what the weather's going to be like.
Right. I canceled 3 trips last month because the weather
It
just
seems like the wind blows every
Right.
weekend. So.
And like I have a guy that's I'm supposed to fish Friday, and thank goodness he could go Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and the weather's going to get good. Sunday's going to be 1 to 2 foot, so we're going to go give it a shot, Sunday. But the fishing's really good this time of year. Summertime, it's good. It's just a little bit further run. So
Okay. When they book stuff like that, does it have to be 3 months out, or is that just how?
No.
I mean, people are trying to plan vacations, and when they're coming down here, so that's kind of how it works.
Right. Yeah, and what we tell, like, just for instance, I keep going back to right now because that's what we're going through right now is I get calls. I got 2 guys that are on standby that really want to go, and they're within 4 hours. They're from one group's from Jackson, the other group's from Dothan, Alabama. So, like, if I know the weather's going to be good, I try to call them and give them, 4 or 5 days heads up. Say, hey, you're going to have 3 days if y'all can get everybody together. But with right now, a lot of people, I can tell you, hey, just come on and go. If the weather's bad, we go. You get seasick, turn the boat around. Who has fun? Nobody wants
That's
to
right.
come back.
Nobody at all.
Right.
That's right.
Nobody wants to come back. I want to build a business. I want people to have a good time. I want people to enjoy the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Yeah. That's a miserable feeling.
That's a terrible
I know a lot of people like to brag, like, I've never been sick on a boat. It ain't in my jeans or whatever. I've been sick on a boat a couple times, and it is miserable, man. It doesn't happen every time, but it is miserable. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to be risking that to just to make a trip, right? To make that sale.
Absolutely, and it's not it's not worth it to me. I want you to come back. I want you to come back 2 or 3 times. I want your kids to come back when they get old enough to do it, and they have a good time.
Well, how are you marketing? Is it
mainly Instagram and Facebook? We do have a website. It's sportfishingchartersbiloxi.com, and then it'll link you to the Side Bet Facebook and Instagram page. But we're doing a little bit of marketing. I got a marketing firm out of Gulfport that's doing some stuff for me, and it's kind of hard to do a lot this time of year because it's so hard to book people, right now with like we're talking with the weather and stuff. So, my goal is starting in February, we get another run of season. It's called the lump season, and we catch them out off of Mississippi. On the East Lump, they call it. And it's really good big fish. You don't catch a lot of fish, but you catch a lot of big fish. So I'm really going to start hitting and marketing hard there.
Are y'all like targeting tuna specifically mainly?
Tuna this time of year. Now, when snapper season opens, we'll do snapper
Okay.
trips, which
That's
are
what I'm
fun.
getting at, yeah.
Cobia fishing, grouper fishing.
Yeah.
We do it all. Amberjack. Tuna fishing, we try to focus on just because nobody else is doing it here.
Yeah.
You got a
Yeah.
lot of people that go snapper fishing. You got probably 10 boats that are federally permitted snapper boats that go, and they get a longer season to fish. Charter boat guys. So we try to strictly do the tuna fishing, and on just say we have a slow day or we have a good day tuna fishing, we can swing back in and catch snapper on the way in if it's snapper season's open. The feds have kind of got that screwed up.
Ooh.
It's
Man,
terrible, man.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast in and of itself,
Yeah,
right?
It used to
You
be
wanna
you
get in
could
Yeah,
you could
exactly.
almost meat
Exactly.
haul it when you had snapper open, amberjack open, grouper open,
Right.
and now it's like one closes and one opens,
That's
and one
right.
closes and one opens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're doing the best interest of the resource. I don't know,
yes.
but it is
Yeah.
frustrating. I'm a recreational guy. I don't have to deal with the commercial stuff, but it's if you get
That's
snapper
a long,
season's what
long
about,
way to run for two
That's
fish.
what I'm saying.
Right.
Long
Well,
way
and
to
it's
run for
about
two
6
fish.
hours long, right? The season. You know what I mean? Now it's
Right.
open for
From
about 6
midnight to
hours.
midnight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. So
It's tough, man. It's tough because it costs so much. I mean, fuel's $3 a gallon, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're lucky if you get 2 miles to the gallon on
Yeah.
any offshore boat. And
It's slick as a baby's butt.
right,
Yeah.
you got to load 10 kids. It's like, hey, bring the whole basketball team.
Right.
Going fishing.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. What have you had so far as customer clientele? Is it a lot of local people? Is it out of town people, families, basketball teams? Like,
I've had some local guys and a lot of word of mouth, like some people from Jackson, like I said earlier. I've had some people from Florida. I've had some people from Georgia. I've had some people from South Carolina. I've had a good group, but mainly the Southeast.
Okay.
Nothing from supposed to take a fishing club in July from Maryland.
that'd be
That's kind of
experience.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they booked actually 3 boats down here. So, and I happen to be one of them. I think they booked for 5 days, 3 boats. So it's a pretty big deal.
be an
It's a lot of
eye-opening
money
event for them,
Yeah. It's different. They catch the big bluefins. They don't catch a lot of fish like we do, but the variety. And
Right.
we have so many varieties.
We do.
Here, and,
we definitely do.
we've, for instance, we're catching bait. We're throwing a mullet net and catching mullet to use for bait or whatever. And, some of these guys from Central Georgia are like, man, that's the biggest fish I've ever caught.
Mullet?
Well, they're
The
fishing.
mullet?
Yeah, they're fishing
Yeah.
ponds.
Well,
so
or if they're
it's,
fishing freshwater
you just-
too,
Yeah, they just don't. They
You
don't
kick a
have
couple
it.
of mullet to the side and tell them to
Yeah,
fry them and eat them and let them know what
yeah,
that's all
yeah,
about. Yeah, you got to
Biloxi
be.
bait.
Good
Yeah,
old
you got to
Biloxi
be
bait.
baptized
Yeah.
in the way. That's pretty cool. Where are you fishing out of? What harbor?
Mainly out of Point Cadet.
Okay.
We do a lot, and we do a lot out of D'Iberville. Actually, D'Iberville's got a great ramp. My problem with the length of boat I have is like Biloxi Smallcraft. The ramp is deep enough, but there's no parking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
not for that trailer.
No, when I have my truck, it's as long as an 18-wheeler.
yeah.
So I mean, I hang out. I can pull my truck all the way to Highway 90 and still be blocking.
So you're trailering it every time, right?
Yeah,
You're
pretty
trailering it.
much because
I thought I saw a picture. You had it trailered. I thought, yeah.
But the reason why is because our days turn from 12 to 16 hours.
Right.
I mean, we leave at 4 o'clock, and usually we don't come in until 6.
Yeah.
A lot of times. I mean, our last trip, for instance, we said that's it at 2:30. We're going to the dock. We had 4 fish at that time. We lost a good fish, pulled the hooks on them, and man, we were up there packing all the stuff, and we had the rods out, and we hooked another fish. He was like 180 pounds. We fought him for 2.5 hours.
What are you gonna do?
At
Yeah.
2:25.
Right,
We
yeah,
were leaving at
2:30 is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So, we fought him. We'd normally be in by that time, by the time we got finished fighting the fish. So it was 8 o'clock. We're clean fish till 9, 10 o'clock.
That's a day right there.
It's a
Oh,
good
man,
problem to
it's a long
have,
day.
though. It's a
It's
good
true.
problem to
Yeah,
have.
it's great for the customers.
Right.
I mean, it is. I mean, they had a great time. They had already caught plenty of fish. They were happy. We probably had 15 mahi before while we were catching bait. We caught them. So it was
That's
just
sweet.
one of those great days. You pull up, catch bait. There's the mahi.
What size mahi are we catching out there?
We catch anywhere from probably 8 to 15 pounds. I mean, there's some 30-pounders being caught. That trip, we probably had 15 to 20-pound fish. 12,
That's some
15
good
pounds.
ones.
I've never caught one
I
of
like
those
them
here.
little chicken dolphins.
Yeah, they're
chicken
fun.
dolphins. Where it's at.
Yeah.
I've caught them in Cabo.
Yeah.
Pretty good bit of times. They're fun. Man. That's a fighting fish. That's
It
a
is,
beautiful
especially
fish
catch them
too.
on trout rods.
Yeah.
Light tackle.
It's a good time, man.
I ain't never done that. I've never caught them on small
Yeah,
tackle.
we
catch them on trout rods.
Yeah. I bet that is a fight.
Oh, it's a blast.
Yeah.
Watching them jump everywhere, and it's a good time, man. It's great for people that don't expect to experience,
Yeah.
the different varieties. Like I said, I mean, we just have so much, like we were saying, you
Right.
have the snapper, you have speckled trout. I mean, I even do wading trips.
Really?
Yeah,
With
down-
that big
down
old
to
boat?
Shenandoah. Yeah, pull it up on
Pull
the
it
beach
up
at,
on
at
there,
Freemason and
chandelier.
climb
That's
down,
what I'm talking about.
and go. It's a good time. I mean, that's my passion is trout fishing. I
Right.
really enjoy it. I enjoy.
I wouldn't have expected you to say that. I'm the
No.
same way, man.
It's like dove hunting. I like to, you like to shoot.
I know
You
you
know,
like to just catch. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing white trout, speckled trout. When you get into the middle of them, man, it's just like every cast.
Top
and-
water speckled trout is hard
I
to
love
beat.
snapper
No,
fishing, but I kind of get beat up sometimes when I'm with Joey and them. It's like it's a long drive for two fish. Like
Right.
I don't know. I like speckled trout fishing. Man.
Right,
I like speckled
right,
trout
right.
fishing.
No,
So
I
I'm
do
glad to
too.
hear you, the tuna charter boat guy say that
yeah,
on the
man, it's a
podcast, man.
good
That's
time,
awesome.
Man. It's it's all that's what we grew up doing. I mean, that kind of
Yeah.
go back to your roots. You were allowed to go in Back Bay.
That's it.
Yeah.
With
the
a
skiff
14-foot skiff.
Yeah.
Right, Mitchell skiff.
Yeah.
What-
go do that.
That's awesome. What's the experience like on that big of a boat? That's the first time you've owned that big a boat, I would assume.
It is, but we've always fished. Like I said, a guy we used to fish with, which he owns CRT Caldwell Racing Technology. He's a local guy, Matthew Caldwell. He does all the drag boat stuff. Holds a few records down here in the Drag Boat Association. But he's always had big boats. Another guy, a friend of ours, always. We've had a lot of yellowfins. We've been fishing yellowfin since about 2004.
Okay.
So we've had between probably 6 or 8 of us friends, we've probably had 15 boats, yellowfins in
Right.
that group of guys. And we've always fished, like you said, the big game clubs, the Billfish Classic.
Yeah.
We did the whole SKA tour.
So you got experience under your belt too for people when you take them out. It ain't you're
Yeah.
not just out there.
Well,
Winging
right,
it.
and you got to realize too. I mean, I run on radar probably in a year more than a lot of people run, in their entire life.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we run 24 hours a day in the oil field.
Yeah.
We don't shut down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 24 hours a day. If a rig shuts in, anything. I mean, you're running at night. 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours a day. I mean, you'll run.
Yeah.
Till the
crazy.
job's complete.
Yeah.
So it's what I'm going back to is you're saying the experience level between Mark and I mean, that's what we do for a living. I mean, we run boats and safety's key. I mean, we have EPIRBs. We have.
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, we have sat phones. We
It's a
have
long way.
everything. Yeah, I mean,
Definitely a
you
long
have
way.
to. I mean, it's 90 miles. I mean, yeah, we have friends from Venice that can come tow us or do whatever. But, I mean, you want the best experience for your customers,
Right.
and you want the safety for them. I mean, you might have somebody that has never been in a
Yeah.
boat. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
know. You don't know their backgrounds. And we give them big safety, speech when we get on the boat and let them know where everything's at and make sure everybody's comfortable. Hey, if this is happening and you don't see this EPIRB, you hold on to this for me.
Right.
I'm trying to fix the leak or do
Right.
this or do whatever. I mean, you kind of got to make everybody aware, make them part of it because you are a team doing that distance of a run. And,
Yeah. Yeah, safety has came a long way though. I mean, what you mentioned the sat phone. What's that thing y'all use with the where you can text like small amounts of text messaging?
Same. We
Same
use a
thing.
spot, but it's an EPIRB.
Okay.
It's basically the same thing.
we use an inReach too.
Yeah,
we have
inReach.
a Delrome, which is the same thing.
Does
as a
Cito come out that far?
Oh, they will
didn't
for a
think so.
price.
Yeah.
How much money you
Yeah, how
got?
much money
Yeah,
you got?
yeah, for a price.
So it's like I
Hey,
guess it's the sat phone or the Coast Guard.
Right.
And
And
the
there's a
coast-
good guy that
Yeah.
Towboats US. That's a great. The
Yeah.
guy that just bought that out, Conrad. He is. He's great guy, willing to help anybody. I've heard stories and stories. I've known him for years, but just the last couple of years since he's bought this business, he's gone above and beyond, just helping people out.
That's good.
Just local people. See somebody broke down, goes and helps them, and
Yeah.
just takes care of them. I mean, that's what it's about. It's not about pulling up to somebody and saying, "Oh man, you're out of gas." My CTO price is this much an hour, and I'm going to pull you back in at 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
It's just it puts a bitter taste in people's mouth that new time boat owners that have problems and aren't experienced and they break down.
Yeah.
Locally. So, it's safety, and you all want to get back to helping each other.
Yeah.
You don't have that anymore in Biloxi because you don't have a lot of local people. I mean, when we were growing up, everybody knew who had a boat. You knew what
Right.
boat
Knew
was
what it was,
and,
what it looked like.
right, and who was who on the water. And,
Yep.
you know, you knew where they were parked up fishing, who it was.
Right.
Yeah, my grandparents' generation talk about how, like, I mean, they knew like everybody that lived around here, who they were related to, and most everybody that was here was from here.
No, absolutely.
That's changed now,
No,
and
it's
you know, that's not neither good nor
tremendous.
bad. I mean,
Right.
it's just different.
And
This-
everybody owns a boat now.
Right.
There's a ton more boats out there right now than what
Oh,
your grandpa,
absolutely.
my
Yeah.
grandpa had.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of people running it too.
Yeah, and the fishing's different.
No
They,
doubt.
I mean, I hear stories about how they used to be able to go out there and just load it down. You know, it wasn't like it is now, overfished and used or whatever. So, times are different, technology's different, but
No doubt.
it's still good to know we're out there trying to enjoy it. You know, and there's a market for people who want to come here and enjoy it and experience the
Absolutely.
Gulf Coast, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we want the best. We want to provide them with the best. You know, the best experience they can have. The best boat, the best tackle, the best nightlife, the best food, the best hotels. I mean, we want the best. We want to provide our customers or anybody that comes to Biloxi. I mean, we have a great opportunity here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast to provide what a lot of these bigger cities have. I mean, we're a hidden gem. I mean, we're talking about the old days, but I got to find it. It's on YouTube. It's called the South Riviera, or
I watched it.
You saw
the
that?
Riviera of the South.
yes,
yeah, it's from the
that's-
'60s.
yes.
Yep.
And
We
it
used to
was
be the
before
seafood.
Camille.
Correct.
Yeah.
We used to be
Right.
the seafood capital of the world.
Big piles of oyster shells stacked
Yeah.
up
Right.
everywhere.
Yep.
But then we had the
Shrimp
Broadwater
boats.
when the Broadwater was built. I mean, that was people come from all over the United States to
Yeah.
stay at the Broadwater. I mean, we have that here. We have that opportunity to do it here.
And see that you asked about why we started this podcast, because I feel the same way. I mean, it's like a hidden gem here. It's my hometown. I
Right.
love this place. It's grown a lot, and I think we have a lot to offer, more so than like you mentioned, just gambling. I mean, that's cool. That's good. I'm glad it's done a lot for our economy and our
Right.
revenue. But there's a little bit more here than just that. You
No,
know?
absolutely.
And for me, it's everything that's south of Highway 90, which
Right.
is
Yeah.
the
Right.
Gulf of Mexico, the Barrier Islands.
No, absolutely. And we take so much for granted. I mean, we were
Yeah.
throwing cast nets when we were 4. And you pull a cast net out of a bucket and your customers go, "Hey, what is that?"
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and,
Look at you like
you
you're
throw
crazy.
it. Yeah, and they're like, "Wow, how do you do that?" And it's like, and it goes back to teaching my son how to throw a cast net out of his 13-foot Boston Whaler on the trailer in the yard.
Right.
And it's like,
That's right.
I mean, that's the way we were taught, and it's not done that way anymore.
No.
You just don't see kids doing that. I mean, and it's sad, but I enjoy it. I enjoy taking people that's never been. I enjoy taking people out there that enjoy the sport. They just enjoy going.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't care if they catch anything. They
Just being out there is part of the experience.
It's a whole new world. I mean, once you get past the
It is.
islands and
It
you
is.
start seeing rigs and there's no land around,
Yeah.
your brain starts going, whoa,
Well,
where am I at right now?
This ain't my turf
No.
Yeah.
anymore. I'm a
Yeah.
visitor here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you have one of those big makos or big
Yeah, jumping
hammerheads.
right next to you.
Yeah, that you're on a 39-foot boat and he's half as long as the boat. He eats 150-pound tuna in one bite in half.
I've seen those
photos.
photos online. That's hard to believe that them things can do that.
Yeah,
That's
People
ridiculous.
It
don't
humbles
realize
you.
they're that big. Yeah,
Humbles you real quick.
big
Yeah,
time.
y'all. I start thinking like, if I had to be in this water right now, that would not be a good thing.
You're dead.
You know what I mean? I'm the
Right.
low man on the food chain at that
Big
point.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, y'all are Yellowfin target, right? That's
Yeah, I
y'all
mean
going
that's
after?
just because we don't have, nobody else is doing it,
Right.
And that's what we want to
Separate
target
yourself,
that,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will not saying that we won't go do anything. I mean, I had a trip in September where they came for 2 days, and I took them tuna fishing one day, and we went cobia fishing the other. I mean,
That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
just it's whatever the customer wants to do, and if we're not catching tuna, I mean, I turned down a bunch of trips this year, when the spillway had us screwed up.
Right.
The water was the Bonacary spillway
yeah.
was.
I wanted to ask about that. You mentioned it earlier, pushing all the fresh water in there. That far out, or is it affecting you when you're that far out?
Oh, yeah.
It does. Yeah,
Yeah,
still
I mean,
does,
it's
yeah.
bad because you got to realize, I mean, the way Louisiana comes down and it curves around, it flushes
Right.
all of, just like it does inside our islands
Yeah.
here. It's the same thing out there. So it pushes all that fresh water out, and it just pushes the bait further. The bait will get hung up on the rip,
Yeah.
a rip
Well,
line. And it
That's what
pushes
y'all play off of, the
Right,
rip, right?
right.
So if we got strong winds going one way or the other,
Right.
the further
You're going
the
to
rip
fish
goes
one direction
out,
or
right.
the other. Right. So
Yeah.
different rigs.
They got to get that Bonacary thing figured out. I mean,
Yeah.
I've watched a few things from Delbert Hoseman talking about it, what they're going to do, the actions that the state can take or not take. But that thing stayed open way too long.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
100
you
something
know,
days, I believe, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
well, the thing is, they had nobody on the board from the state of Mississippi.
Right.
You
You know,
know,
That's
it's
right.
like,
It's
hey, I
a
mean,
little bit of a
Louisiana.
shoot
yeah.
ourselves in the foot right there.
Right,
You
right.
know, I mean, it's sad to say, but it hurt a lot of people. I mean, not only the fishermen, but I mean, I say fishermen, the charter guys, but it really killed the shrimpers and the
Oh,
oystermen.
yeah.
Oysters
and-
Yeah.
done.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's horrible. We just started that giant oyster aquatic program
That's
here,
right.
and
Wiped
the
it all out.
DMR did a great job
Yeah.
getting all the money funded for that, and I mean, they went above and beyond doing that, and it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of money wasted, man, and it's man, those oysters were good if you got to try any.
I don't think I got
Well,
it.
they're starting to back up from
Yeah.
what I hear.
Yeah, we were
this-
talking about
I-
getting-
I almost hit the dang thing behind Deer Island one day. I didn't realize what
Really?
it was. Came around Deer Island for the boat show. I mean, the air show. I was
Yeah.
like, what the crap is this?
Right.
Talking about, I shared that thing today. Somebody shared. Did you see that post about somebody hitting
Oh,
a
yeah,
pylon
yeah, yeah,
right
yeah.
over
But
here?
that was in Davis Bayou. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. But going back to the water safety thing that we're talking about, somebody hit a pylon in their boat, knocked him out of the boat, almost didn't get the boat back. Luckily he did, but it was
Right.
it was a good read, a good reminder, like you mentioned, man, about how important safety is out there
Right.
for real.
Right, man, it is. And I mean, that's the thing we were talking. You said one of y'all said everybody's got a boat nowadays, and that is true, man. And you know, we take for granted we grew up on the water.
Yeah.
I mean, everything we did was probably, y'all were like me, probably hydrosliding at 10 years old, and you didn't need a
Right.
parent out there with
Right.
you, or you know, you were just made to wear your life jacket when you were in the boat, and you know, and you went, and that
Learned to
was it.
swim really early.
Yeah. Don't get in front of the barges, you know,
Yeah.
the tugboats.
Stay out of the
Yep.
way,
Never
you
cut
know.
in front of them.
Don't
man.
go where I can't see you.
What
Yeah.
is crazy is you have to have a license and take a test to operate a motor vehicle, a car. But anybody, I mean, you have to have your boater safety class, but anybody can just jump in a boat and take
Yeah.
off.
It's a test though for your boater safety.
Yeah,
it is a
yeah,
test,
it
so
is
you have
that,
to
but-
have it take a test legally to do it
Yeah.
legally.
Right. But I mean, and look, I mean, I want everybody to enjoy our waters. I mean, I wish we had more restaurants on the water. I mean, you got Galot's, you got the Blind Tiger,
Yep.
you got
Wahoos,
McElroy's, you know,
right?
McElroy's. you
Wahoo's
got
the
Wahoos.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
yeah.
But, you know, I mean, it's great to be able to pull up to these places and let your customers go in there and eat and clean your fish. And you know, or people ask, and yeah, go right here and eat, man. It's nice. It's on the water.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm sure y'all grew up when old Fisherman's Harbor was open and you had Steve Seacool playing down there. You know, that was great. You know?
Do you have any presence in any of the casinos? Meaning your cards or you're affiliated with them
I have some
in any
cards
way?
a little bit. I mean, it's pretty hard to get in with those guys. You can get in with a couple of the, you know, the host and things like that, and they
Right.
can promote you. Talked with a guy from the Golden Nugget. And he, you know, the guy that owns the Golden Nugget, whatever I think his name's Landry. His last name might not be. But he's
Oh,
a
I
big
should
time
notice,
yacht
yeah.
guy. You know, the guy that's got the big yacht, the boardwalk and all.
Yeah.
He's from Galveston, or he's got a bunch of stuff in Galveston. But you know, he's all for fishing in the marina and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, the Palace has always been real good to us. The Beau Rivage has been real good to us. I'm trying to get in. I want to really get in with Margaritaville. You know,
Yeah.
they're I want to do more family. You know,
Yeah, that would be cool.
friend stuff
Family
with the
trips.
kids,
you know what
you
I'm
know.
saying?
Because you get so many guys that want to go do this with their families. I mean, you got so many kids, man. They watch YouTube all day long, and they watch all these videos on all these guys fishing. And
Yeah.
man, it's amazing. You see
Get
these
them out there.
kids.
Yeah, they probably.
Glowing.
Oh man, they're tying knots in their room, and you know they're even taking their Nintendo cables, if that's what they're called nowadays. I mean, now I think it's PlayStation or
Yeah.
something, but
Most
they're tying knots
yeah.
in their cables. You know.
That's funny.
That's cool.
What are you doing any tournaments coming up? Are y'all?
Man, we're looking at doing. I was telling y'all earlier about the Louisiana Wahoo deal. It's, you know, I'm trying to leave it open for customers. If we decide to fish it with some local friends, you know, kind of as a fun trip, we'll do it last minute. But I really try to leave that open for customers because, I mean, we're talking about experience. I mean, a lot of people will never get to do that, you know, get to fish a big time tournament.
So
And
you're
it's-
chartering during the tournament. So
Right.
somebody could rent your boat out and fish
Absolutely.
a tournament. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
cool.
I didn't realize that was an option. Honestly, I mean, it makes sense,
absolutely.
obviously, but yeah.
I mean, it is because I mean, you could get 4 guys or 6 guys that want to do it that either don't have the time to own a boat,
Mm-hmm.
don't have a time to get ready to fish a tournament. We've had guys charter us before that have a boat and don't want to deal with it, want a faster boat, and that can do it, so. And sometimes
And your
you get,
experience.
Right. Sometimes you get gamblers too that, just like the odd. I mean, that's what it is. It's just like going in a casino.
Yeah.
I mean, you're taking a gamble. So, I mean, you have all walks of life that want to do it. So
that's awesome, man. What's the plan? What's your goals for the business? Like how
in 3 years I'd like to be running, at least 100 to 120 trips a year out of Biloxi. Possibly have in 2 years to 3, possibly have another boat in the mix,
That'd be cool.
We kind of got our eyes on a bigger yellowfin right now.
Good Lord.
So, yeah, no, I mean, what the thing is to expand the fleet. I mean, we were talking about Mark and Matt, they both work with me. And if we figure if we can give away, if we, I don't want to say give away, but if there's a certain amount of days that we can't run because we're already booked, I mean, it makes sense to buy another boat.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's, I mean, you do the math, it works. I
That's
mean,
right.
That's it. And some years will be slower than others. Other years it will be better. I mean, it's all economy based.
Right.
That's right.
And our economy's thriving right now.
And hopefully it'll get better if they stop pushing this fresh water.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something.
Now, working in the oil field, do you get your other guys out there to send you some little tidbits about where these fish are and stuff like that?
I'll talk to boats that I mean, I've been working out there 15 years and Mark's been out there longer than me. We'll make comments or calls and get comments from other captains and look, a lot of them guys out of Venice call us too.
Yeah.
I mean, we've known them all 20, 30 years, so they'll call us and we share information. Thankfully, I have some friends that are in Venice that, just like yesterday, I called 2 or 3 different guys. And, one guy caught him here, one guy caught him there, one guy caught him here. And you can kind of get a general area of where they're fishing. And we do the same thing. So, like what you're saying, though, do I call the oil field boats? Absolutely.
No doubt.
Hey, man, you seen any fish jumping at night?
They see them all day long.
Yeah, I mean, we're standing by out there. We might be out there for 2 weeks. I mean, I've been out there for 4 months before and never left the rig and just sit out there.
Jesus.
Yeah,
4 months.
Well, I mean,
that's why he's got that 39-foot yellow.
That's also true.
Exactly.
That's also true.
But we work 28 days on, but the boat itself will stay out there for 4 months. So
damn.
you get a lot of recon.
Yeah.
A lot of scouting.
Yeah. I live with the fish.
That's right.
That's right. Well, that's good, man. I'm pumped. I'm glad you reached out. You saw us through Instagram. Is that how you
absolutely.
heard? Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
good deal.
checked y'all. Saw some things you were doing with some local businesses and really liked it. That the fact that y'all are taking interest on the local guys because like you said earlier, there's not a lot of local people left. You still there is, but there's. I mean, like y'all were saying. I mean, when we grew up, you didn't get caught doing something because you got whoever caught you tore your butt up, and then when you got home, you got tore up.
And you got beat again.
Yeah, because you embarrassed them. Right. It wasn't.
That's right.
Then they talked about you at church.
So with that being said, I enjoy the fact that y'all are reaching out and doing this stuff with the local people. I mean, that means a lot to me, and I want to see our local businesses grow. I want to see, local people help local people out. And that's what it's all about.
That is.
And to me, that's what makes the Mississippi Gulf Coast so much different than everywhere else.
I could have said it better myself, man.
You walk and you
nailed it.
I work offshore. You meet these guys from Alabama, or and they're still good. They're good Southern boys, and you meet these guys from Louisiana, and they're good. But when you find people from Mississippi, it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, they say hello and thank you and
shake
hey man,
hand.
I went to Missouri hunting last time I was home and met these guys from New Jersey and every night I brought a rack of ribeyes. We were going to eat steaks every night. Well, there was some guys there, so guess what? I cut up enough steaks to feed them, and they looked at me like I was crazy. And it's like, hey man, I cooked y'all steaks. Are y'all going to eat with us? And they're like, looking at me all crazy, and it's like, man, I'm not trying to poison you. I'm not going to get in your tree stand tomorrow.
Southern hospitality.
It's like, man, this is just if we cook enough for everybody.
That's
and feeding everybody.
Yep, that's big, man. That's big, and I think that's true. That's how I was raised, and that's how my dad is. That's how all my family.
I mean, the older I get, the more and more I guess you could say, see it.
That's
you
right.
know, before you didn't care, and now it's
Yeah.
just like, man, how could these people, be that way?
That's
You
awesome.
know, it's
awesome.
It's just different.
People that are listening to this that want to come check you out, what's the best place to find you, get in touch with you?
Facebook, Instagram, it's under Side Bet Sportfishing on either of those social media, and then, like I said before, our website is sportfishingchartersbiloxi.com.
Okay. All the info's there.
All
at
the
the
info's
.com?
there.
You can book everything on there. Everything.
You can book everything on there. I mean, the best thing to do is kind of either book on there, but I always recommend calling myself or Mark and get in touch with one of us and just talking to us about what we're doing and let us give you some plans. I mean, you might have kids on there that are 10 or 12 years old that can't handle tuna.
Yeah.
And you might have 4 of them and 2 adults, and it's like the kids are going to have fun for about 5 minutes when the fish comes in the boat.
Right.
The other, it's going to be a big waiting game. It's like putting them in a tree stand wwithout a cell phone. I mean, cell phones nowadays and tree stands are great, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put them headphones on. Be quiet.
Exactly. But, I mean, we can kind of recommend, hey, man, it's why don't we take them trout fishing, or why don't we take them snapper fishing? I mean, kids love snapper fishing. It's quick, it's easy.
Drop to the bottom, reel it in.
Right, exactly. And we do things like that. We like to bring them to the fort. And I mean, there's just different things. Hey, man, if y'all are staying, you need to stay at Margaritaville, or make sure you take them to Margaritaville. I mean, if people contact us, we try to make their trip the best we can. What do y'all like to eat? Try this restaurant, go here.
Yeah.
The people I got coming Sunday, I mean, I think they're more excited about going to Mary Mahoney's than, I mean, it's you just explain Mahoney's to them, and they're just like
fired
unbelievable, and it's just such a landmark that if somebody don't tell you about it, I mean, you would never
see
I
it.
mean, it's set so far back, and I mean, it has such a history, and I mean, you walk in there and you look at that one wall with all the pictures. I mean, there's 3 or 4 presidents, and
and some great food.
Yeah.
No, the food is unbelievable.
Yeah, no
definitely.
doubt.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad you reached out.
Yep.
I appreciate you coming in and talking to us. You got to come back and do it again.
Yeah,
we got to keep this thing rolling, make this multiple episodes.
Thank y'all for doing what y'all do. I mean, it's great, man. I'm so happy that we have somebody locally that is local doing this.
Yeah. That's our goal, is to cover as many charter boat I mean, there's many topics we want to cover with this, from politics to business owners, like I've done, but definitely the outdoors is the next thing that Joey and I are going to tackle. Fishing, hunting, whatever we can get into, because there's a lot of it down here, and it's one of the, like you've eloquently put, it's a big part of the Mississippi Gulf Coast, so it needs to be highlighted.
Brought back up.
Yep. Nope. All right. Well, until next time, man. Thank you so much for coming out. That Side Bet Fishing Charters. Hit them up. Go take a peek at Instagram, man. You got all kind of fish on that page. So,
big old tuna.
Yeah. Go look at what he's talking about. They're putting fish in the boat. So hit him up. Book a charter. And until next time, thanks for listening.